Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a nice paint job on this K5 Blazer for Derek. I had Steve with Mirror Image Auto Body come over last night and lay down some clear over the paint job I already did. And I think I showed y'all in the last video that it was just terrible. So I went over the whole truck with 400 wet sand and then wet sanded it with 800 to prep it for this flow coat. So when Steve came over, he did, we had a couple of spots to touch up, you know, hit it with some epoxy and then hit it with some base coat. And then he came in and laid down some really nice stuff. Let's see if we can get some reflections in here. I mean, it's pretty slick. You know, it's not perfect by any means. We're gonna talk about this spray booth in a minute, but it is significantly better than what I was throwing down. And that is the difference between a novice and a pro. Same booth, same equipment, same environment, same material, same everything, and the difference is night and day, man. It's so wild. We were working in this spray booth. You know, I don't really have a lot of experience spraying, so I don't really know how a booth is supposed to act and all that stuff. So after we got done spraying, we kind of talked about it a little bit, and Steve was saying there's not enough airflow in this booth to get the material out, so we constantly had a huge haze of clear in the air, and that's constantly falling back down on the paint job. So this is a positive air pressure booth. We have this blower here, which blows up the actual booth to make it like the bounce house effect. And then this guy is sucking in air and pushing it through the booth. So you have two filters, kind of have like a clean room right here, and then you have the actual spray booth. And the filters that filter the air going into the booth are black. So when you're doing a white paint job, if you brush up against those black filters, you'll get black fibers in the paint. So we were constantly chasing that on this. We still got some fibers in there. And we actually ended up putting a big drum fan at the exit of the tent to try to help suck out some of those, some of the overspraying paint fumes and stuff. It works really well for what it is. I also thought we had a really clean environment to spray in. If you don't really have a clean environment, you got a lot of airborne stuff. Not only could you put trash in your paint, but you could also get fish eyes. And there are some sections in here that are fish eye-y, and there's really nothing we could do about it. Steve laid down 3 wet coats, and we just could not bury the fish eyes. So I think eventually this truck's gonna need to be wet sanded and polished. I'm not gonna do that because that takes like way too much time. Also, we know a guy that might help us out with that. So is the paint job perfect? No. Is it better than what it was? Oh my gosh, yes, 100%. And we still got some plans to, you know, maybe do some decals and stuff on this truck. So, you know, we might be hiding some of these imperfections in the paint, if you will. Anyway, I want to get to stripping this thing because I'm ready to start reassembly. Actually, at the recording of this video, I leave tomorrow to go to Connecticut. So I don't know when you guys are going to see this Blazer next, but as it looks for right now, this thing's going to be sitting for the next 2 weeks because I leave Thursday and I don't come back till the following Sunday, covering Hot Rod Drag Week with Paul Bigelow, and we're Team PB and J. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you might want to do so now so you can keep an eye on our adventures through the week. Gonna be trying to post videos every day on Hot Rod Drag Week. Gonna be interviewing some racers, gonna be doing all kinds of stuff, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also really looking forward to getting out of the shop. I've been working for like 6 weeks straight, and this kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. One other thing I didn't show y'all was I got these parts prepped yesterday too. Spent some time sanding them by hand with just a maroon Scotch-Brite and hit it with that rust encapsulator, 2 coats of that stuff. These are our bumper brackets, headlight buckets, lower grille brackets, battery tray, everything basically that we needed to get painted, got painted yesterday, except for this lower grille trim piece. I'm gonna get everything kind of fit in here, and before I throw a coat of paint on it, I'm gonna make sure it fits. It's kind of got it's kind of bent right here. You can kind of see the way the light bends. So I'm gonna straighten this out. Just make sure everything fits the way it's supposed to before we do final assembly. Probably be throwing some paint on this guy too. This is that filler bracket between the tailgate and the rear bumper. Got the rear bumper, still don't have the front bumper. There's some things we're still missing, waiting on some lights and odds and ends, but anyway, let's get this thing stripped and get her out in the sunlight. Getting a first look at her out in the light. Looks pretty freaking good, dude. Heck yeah. I'm digging that. All right, I gotta clean up this shop in here because, well, we got a storm coming. So I gotta get moving. But I gotta fold this all up. Actually, I think I'm just gonna get it out of the way right now. Pull the Blazer back in and try to avoid the ensuing storm that's coming. Got our AC topped off, got everything put back together. Check this out. Woo! That look pretty dang cool, don't it? Running our signals. Took me a minute to figure this out. They were not really acting right, but now we're good to go. We just got some cheap LED headlights and housings from Amazon. These are from United Pacific, and again, these are just like Amazon ordered stuff. So, you know, trying to still do this on a budget, as much of a budget as we can. The only thing that I can't really get to work correctly is the side marker lights are really dim. They signal and they're on, but they're not as bright as they should be. Anyway, I'll keep fooling around with it, but right now we gotta take her for a test drive, make sure everything still works on this old truck. Freaking AMD sells everything down to these license plate bolts. Let's see if I have a Yeah Buddy plate, I'll throw it on here. Look at that. This got to be the best running TBI truck I've ever driven. I mean, thing's awesome. Man, this thing needs a freaking bath. Real bad. Let's take this thing around the block, see how she does. Make sure the hood doesn't fly open, make sure everything stays where it needs to be as far as temperatures and pressures go. Man, this thing is freaking sweet. Derek, you got a nice Blazer, brother. Well, we're cruising at 60, sitting at 13 volts, 180 degrees, 50 pounds of oil pressure, and this thing is riding smooth. I think she's done. I think I'm just gonna evacuate a little bit of the refrigerant out of the AC system. This was an R12 system that was converted to 134A. So anytime you're doing you're filling a system that was once an R12 system. You can't go based off the numbers provided. You gotta put in a little bit less of the 134A. Learned that one the hard way in my van. I kept blowing AC lines, and I was like, what the heck, man? Well, it's because it was overpressurized. Do a little U-turn right here. Yeah, buddy. Well, let's get this sucker back to the shop, clean her up a little bit, give Derek a shout, and tell him to come pick up his Blazer. Yeah, buddy, strikes again. Got Derek's Blazer out here doing a little rundown on it, and it started to act real freaking crazy, and I'm like, what is going on? Let me show you. Started to go crazy electrically, like things were turning on and off, and I was like, what is going on? Popped the hood, and what? I think it's gonna start raining soon too, so I gotta hurry up and make this repair. So I got this, thankfully Derek left his knife in the truck. So I got this cut right here. Try to see if we can get a couple threads in. Oh, that might be enough. Well, that's what happened right there. I guess it shorted out on the exhaust manifold cover. I didn't see it when I was putting this thing back together. And then it must have, I don't know, that must have been what broke this. Derek got a little toolbox in his back there. Got me some pliers. That was his knife. Sorry, buddy. You know, people ask me like all the time, dude, why don't you open up your own shop and, you know, like work for customers and stuff? And it's because of stuff like this right here is why I don't want to do it. You know, just getting the Blazer put back together for them. It ran great before. It'll run great when this is fixed. But like, just happened to overlook this minor detail about the power wire of the starter resting on the exhaust manifold. Here we are. Now I have to go through the whole electrical system. Okay, we got lights, that's good. AC's running. Woo! All right, let's limp this thing back to the house. I'm hoping that that wire doesn't move any. Derek in the house, getting his eyes on the Blazer for the first time since you dropped it off, what, 2.5 months ago?
Yeah, it was like end of June, I think.
Yeah, so now we knew it was gonna take a while, so we took the front clip off, we let it sit, and we had to get all the parts in from Autometal Direct, so there was a reason it sat for so long, but now that we finally got it done, man, like, what do you think of this whole, like, transformation?
I mean, I love it. The front end is the biggest thing. It's just like, I picked the 73, 74 front end because I just like how that grille kind of sucks into a little recess versus I guess what, 75 to 79. Yeah, when you see that front grille, it just kind of hits you.
Yeah.
And the paint, like you talked about in the video, it just held all the dirt for the paint. Like I closed the door, if my hands were dirty, and the paint would, like, the dirt would just stay on it. So like, it looks so much better.
Yeah.
It's not, if you didn't know, like, you know, you wouldn't notice it, but you know, obviously you haven't before. It looks awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, we do have plans to do some more work to this truck. We're talking with our buddy Danny. Danny's not from Miami anymore, he's actually in Gainesville, so Big D E-tailing might come help us do a wet sand and polish. We have plenty of clear coat on here to get this thing polished up. I mean, It's nice, definitely like a driver quality paint job, but it's not perfect. We did fix a lot of issues. Like, did you see the driver's side door around the key lock?
Yeah.
Dude, I spent a lot of time like straightening that thing out.
Well, even too, like the door handle here, like
oh yeah,
weak everything just was on. I know the lock was kind of like that too. Like,
yep, but now it's all solid. You know, I mean, you still got some wiggle, but it's not. It was popping. It was really weird. Like, I remember the first test drive, I was like, "What the heck is that noise?" And then it was like, "Oh, it's the door handle."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, everything's freaking buttoned up. I worked through all the electrical issues on the side of the road.
So, I had some holes in it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But she's ready to rip. Later, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah, man. A satisfied customer. So like I was saying, going to C10 Fall Revival, Derek's gonna be riding with me and Lauren. Well, he's gonna be driving that. I'm gonna be driving the dually. That truck's gonna be at the AMD booth. Stop by, check it out, say what's up. I'm gonna have a booth at that show as well. So if you wanna come by, grab some super sweet Yeah Buddy merch, I would greatly appreciate it. Be sure to keep an eye out for that video. It's gonna be coming out very, very soon. As always, I appreciate y'all hanging around and watching these videos. I'll see you in the next one.